Assalamu alaikum. This is me, Muhammad Hasnain, your English language instructor, once again with all of you people. Today I'm joining you guys in our one and only listening and reading series, where I'll be reading, you'll be listening, and you can read along, as it is one of the most important but neglected parts of any language. Chapter number 4, a new chapter. Find flow in everything you do. How to turn work and free time into spaces for growth. We are what we do repeatedly. Excellence, then, is not an act but an habit. This is what Aristotle said about flow and the importance of flow. Going with the flow. Imagine you are skiing down one of your favorite slopes. Powdery snow flies up on both sides of you like white sand. Conditions are perfect. You are entirely focused on skiing as well as you can. You know exactly how to move at each movement. There is no future, there is no past, there is only the present. You feel the snow, your skis, your body, and your consciousness united as a single entity. You are completely immersed in the experience, not thinking about or distracted by anything else. Your ego dissolves and you become part of what you are doing. This is the kind of experience Bruce Lee described with his famous "Be water, my friend." We've all felt our sense of time vanish when we lose ourselves in the activity that we enjoy. We start cooking and before we know it, several hours have passed. We spend an afternoon with a book and forget about the world going by until we notice the sunset and realize we haven't eaten dinner. We go surfing and don't realize how many hours we have spent in the water until the next day when our muscles ache. The opposite can also happen. When we have to complete a task we don't want to do, every minute feels like a lifetime and we can't stop looking at our watch. As the quip attached to Einstein goes, put your hand on a hot stove for a minute, it might seem like an hour. Sit with a pretty girl for an hour and it may seem like a minute. That is relativity. The funny thing is that someone else might really enjoy the same task, but we want to finish as quickly as possible. What makes us enjoy doing something so much that we forget about whatever worries we might have while we do it? When are we happiest? These questions can help us discover our Ikigai. As you guys saw, this was basically a description of how relativity and how basically time works differently when you want to do something. And lots of people call this an effect that has, like, it is something that our brain is portraying, but it is actually a real state that we fall into, a state called the flow state. When we are doing something so focused and the activity is optimal, not too difficult, and the activity is optimal, not too easy, not too difficult, you are able to enter the flow state where your body and mind kind of attach each other and they are able to work and function as one. You don't have to think, you don't have to calculate, you don't have to you don't have to change perspectives upon what's happening, what's not. You just kind of work on autopilot. For example, when I'm writing something or when I have an assignment, I'm constantly talking with someone, for example, anybody that's standing next to my table. I'm talking to them, but I'm also focusing on my work. And without even knowing it and without even paying attention to the work, I continue typing, I continue writing, and I continue doing that. When I'm fidgeting with a pen, for example, even though I'm talking to you guys, let me actually try that. Why not? So as you guys can see, this is a pen in front of me. This is my left hand and I'm a righty. So even though I'm a righty and I can't really fidget pins that well, I'm able to do this quite easily because it's so optimal, it's not too easy, it's not too difficult, and I'm able to fidget quite quickly and quite easily without even looking at it. And as you guys can see right now, this is what basically being in the flow is. But lots of times this is not what flow is. This is just basically an optimal activity you're able to perform very well. But flow is when you are focused at that job. This is when I'm not focused at my job. This is when I'm focused on something else and I'm in the flow for something else. So this is a bit more different than normally flow, but basically if I was fidgeting but my focus was so entirely on the pen that I was just focusing on it all the time, that would be what flow is. Lots of times athletes say or explain flow as a state where a different person inside of them takes on. For example, a famous athlete by the name of Kobe, as you guys know, rest in peace. So basically he was one of the best players of basketball, and he had this different personality on the pitch, not the pitch but on the basketball court, known as the Black Mamba. So basically he just let that personality take over and play the game. It was so optimal to play the game for him that he was able to be so focused that he was able to use his other personality, his other self ego or alter ego, to use that. And this is basically what flow is. You guys can unlock your own flow by being focused on your work very much, and that's why it is important. A focused idiot is better than a distracted genius. That is all. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz. Keep learning, keep listening, and keep getting better at English language.